I started a proxy war in EVE Online by making up a mercenary group that never existed in the first place and escalating a conflict beyond any point of reason. Yes, me. Why? What the outcome was and how I did it? Find out today by watching this video. But playing alone in EVE sucks, so if you want to take part in an awesome community, fly fun ships, make some dank isk and have genuinely a good time, with constantly people around you to hang out with. So come and join Suspect today and fight under the banner of our great supreme leader, me. So come and join our Discord today. Anyway, on with the video. Hi guys, it's me, I41. Conflicts in EVE Online are very common, but when I stumbled upon two Highsec corps, one called Corp name here, the other I don't even remember, something weeping. Absolutely not liking each other because they felt like they have been backstabbed by the respective other side. I didn't think much about it at first. However, this conflict was more serious than just an argument. Both sides were willing to throw ships, resources and men at each other, even though they didn't have a lot of that to begin with, which made it incredibly entertaining to watch. But there was a way to make it even more entertaining, and that is by escalating it. You see, while both didn't like each other, the resentment towards each other was over a supposed neglect of the leader of the Weeping Corp towards his members. While it made him unpopular with the other corp, which I will call from now on C and H, it wasn't enough to start a full-fledged war. Yes, they did challenge each other to duels, but they didn't have a proper war. However, they did have an interest to start one if given the chance to do so. Both parties were willing to fight, but lacked the respective armament to actually escalate this conflict. Tier 1 destroyers, very badly fitted battleships and so forth are nice, but it is nothing you can really fight a war with. Also, both sides lacked a respective goal apart from making life worse for the other side. However, if we give both sides nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction, it could become very entertaining, and I know one person who would be willing to supply both sides of a conflict with nuclear weapons. Me. The closest thing to nuclear weapons on Highsec would be a marauder, especially considering the situation of the respective militaries. Either side would be unable to stop the other side if one of them had a marauder fully operational. By suggesting both sides to acquire such a marauder, giving them the fitting and telling them how to use it, it now just became a race of time. Or so they thought. Realistically speaking, neither side had the ability to get a marauder that quickly, neither side had the experience to use it. So I just told them both that the other side is incredibly close to acquiring one, making both sides rush towards it. Obviously, I also told them the other side wants to use it to completely and utterly destroy the other side. There's just one slight issue. One side in this conflict could not afford to rush into a marauder in the desired time I wanted it to take. Neither could they afford a station or a mercenary group. I needed a solution, and I needed a solution fast. I already promised to one side my protection, so I couldn't just casually fund both sides at once. Or could I? Finding and paying a mercenary group is tough work. They might not have the desired effect I want them to have, and they would cost me a fortune. But what I do have is a large manpower pool myself, so after consulting with another friend of mine, who happens to do a lot of YouTube videos as well, and be really good at accents, we simply invented a mercenary group that never existed before. So here comes Spetsnaz, a Russian C5, C6 mercenary wormhole corp that refuses to share the actual corp name because they could ambush their haulers on Highsec, and is led by a guy with a profile picture from the Ratatouille movie who speaks very bad English. It was truly a scary mercenary group, and they were now out and hired to destroy the station. Truly scary. Only one issue: they kinda weren't sure if this group can attack the station. They felt unsure if it was just a ploy, just a made up story to make them be scared. They knew the enemy was looking to hire mercenaries, but they didn't think that he could afford them. It didn't help either that there was no real way of knowing if this group was real in the first place, or it was just made up, it was just a bedtime story to scare them. Or if they were the very real deal. Because of all of the above, they started to doubt this whole situation. They started to think that this group is just a troll, not real, just made up, and no one would attack the station. After all, who would get hired for 1 billion to do such an operation? Therefore, they started to treat it like a prank and not taking it serious. But it was about to become very real. The next afternoon, when they looked outside the station, they saw a station called PMC Headquarters. The station of exactly that mercenary group they didn't think was real, accompanied by a marauder. What before had only been threats and might have seemed like empty words, by this point was very, very real. With an invasion force at their doorstep, they decided to take a stand, to fight back, to organize and fight back against the invaders. Defend their home. Well, it didn't help that me, the force supposed to protect them, sadly at exactly that time, was kinda busy with a lot of important battles of our own and couldn't deploy to help them, but they would still make a stand. They now had 24 hours until the station would be operational and they would be very soon under attack. So they needed every single bit of time they had to organize their defenses, and that they would do. Also, I thought their resistance lasted about 5 minutes. The station wasn't even online. There was only one ship ever spotted of that mercenary group, but seemingly that was already too much. The same day I got DM'd by them about them wanting to surrender, to give up. I demanded 4 billion. They offered 200 million. This was a very bad deal. I wasn't even really after the money, it was just funny. I also hoped they'd fight back and I could let them win, so they could have a moment of success. This feeling of defending your home and actually winning. But nope. Before the station even anchored, they transferred me their home station. They literally just gave up. I never asked for it, they just gave it to me. This was unexpected and highly disappointing. I put all this effort in planning a whole war, planning a fun story for them to win, just for them to give up before it even started. It was planned from the start, but I felt disappointed. I spent billions. Yes, I can sell everything again, but why did they just give up? After digging deep into their leadership's channels, using the fact that they not only viewed me as their greatest enemy in the shape of that mercenary group, but also as their greatest ally, being ready to defend them for the most part, I found the reason. It turned out they joined a mining alliance, and when it came to a tough situation, their alliance leader told them to just give up and run. Not only that, they got kicked from that alliance for being attacked. I felt like I'm not the bad guy here, he is. What is more evil, making up a war with the intent of spreading chaos and destruction, or abandoning those he called friends in a time of need at the first sign of opposition? Clearly, the latter is more evil. So I took matters into my own hand. No more playing games, I immediately declared war on him. With one goal, remove his presence from the system. His mining stations, gone. His industry stations, gone. At least that was the plan. He also immediately evac'd all his stations and didn't even consider fighting back for his own home. Did I mention he beforehand bragged about making 8 billion just the previous weekend? I guess those 8 billion didn't go into buying a single ship for defending his stations. I just didn't know that HiSec is filled with millions of groups that all want to steal the loot or kill the stations too. So we ended up getting nothing, but the operation was a full success. All in all, we achieved to take one Astra house without any resistance, for which we have no use, take out 2 other stations, where the loot got stolen, and completely depopulate a HiSec system, turning it from a populated system to a war zone, while losing only one marauder of our own because of a minor mishap, it died. So this begs the question, am I the bad guy, or did my silly plan turn into a good thing? All I know is that they now demand reparations from me, well, at least one guy does. So I guess now I know how it feels to be blamed for war. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe, like the video, and also check out my Patreon if you want to support me. And I want to thank all my current patrons. But this is all from me, and I hope to see you next time.